Hey you, I'm the Queen of Shade. Welcome to the interview. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit my Cash App to support your favorite content creator. Now let's get to the interview. Mwah.
Let me tell you something. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too.
Salutations, Dufos. This is your fabulous leader, the Queen of Shade, coming to you with another very special presentation. Moving forward, full speed ahead, getting to know some amazing people, talking to amazing people from around the world, getting to know their stories, sharing light and positivity with them, growing, learning, becoming better. All of these things I have been experiencing since I started actually doing conversations, because they're not really interviews, they're conversations, back in November. You guys have been very gracious in accepting this newfound direction in my career, and it's going really, really well. Having said this, I have someone that you need to meet, who you probably already know, who I'm trying not to cry, but because this person means a lot to me, just with their light and their positivity and their life, and watching them succeed at whatever it was that they wanted to do. So instead of crying, I'm just going to introduce. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this young man leads people to awaken their inner artist and create abundant magic in their lives. He's a speaker, a facilitator, an author, and the co-founder of MPB movement. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring to this camera Mr. Garrain Jones.
Thank you for that amazing introduction.
I had to do it right. You deserve it.
Thank you so much.
You deserve it. Now I can say, you look amazing.
Thank you so much. So do you. And then the crazy thing is our careers are in different spaces, but not like really, because it's always it's an outward expression of lifting people up. But we've been following each other since I don't even know, early Twitter.
2004.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Early Twitter. I saw you there, and then I found you on MySpace. And I was introduced to your artistry, and I'm trying not to cry. Oh my God. And your light. You have always, that's 18 years. And I have literally, we've never been in a space physically together.
Yeah.
But you know how energy is transferable.
Yeah.
I've just watched you do and live and be and become. And it's just been, it's been a lot, because I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Like, I'm a fan.
You would literally comment on everything that I did. And they weren't just normal comments. You would give these specific comments early on when I was still insecure about my own artistry. And you'd be like, you're doing a great job. I'm so inspired by you. And you've literally been the same for almost 20 years, as far as like support.
When I see something in someone and it is good, it is very, very difficult for me not to profess, cheerlead, tell the world about it. It's very hard for me not to. And what I saw in you, you have no idea. Because back then, I was a struggling artist. I hadn't even begun to find my way in artistry. I was a struggling model at that time. And I hadn't even begun to sing. I hadn't begun, the world didn't even know I could do that. I actually found you because I was on my grandmother's classroom computer. She was teaching second grade in the inner city of Philadelphia. And I got on her little Apple computer that she had in the classroom. And I was new to MySpace, but I got the hang of it very quickly. And I knew back then that you needed to get to know people because you needed that top 10, that top 8 to look like something. You remember that?
Yep.
So I genuinely would send messages to get to know people so that they would say to me, hey, I'll follow you. And, and we'll follow each other, and my top 8 would look really good. Then they
Yeah.
turn around and they made a top 20. MySpace, rest in peace. But literally, I was sitting there, and what I was doing was I was emailing around the world. I was sending out emails, sometimes 50 to 100 emails a day to modeling agencies around the world, trying to find an agency or an agent that would take me on. And what I did not know at that time is that in most modeling agencies, even around the world, if you use the statistic of 83 models on the board, 3 of them are Black and only 1 of them is male. So here I was emailing Prague, Croatia, South America, Paris, everywhere. And I got my yeses from Ford and Brazil, and then some small agency in Prague. And then Paris never said yes, but that's where I ended up going. And there was one other place. What was the other place? It wasn't London. It was some off-kill. Oh, South Africa. How could I forget?
Got it.
So I'm thinking, okay, I've got my yeses. And then we start talking and communicating, and they're like, yes, we love your look. Now you have to get here. If you can get here, then we can start your career and get you in model housing and this and that. And I remember sitting there knowing that I didn't have the funding to go. But even then, I was like, well, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. Paris had always been a dream for me. I am a huge Josephine Baker fan. And I mean, the original Josephine Baker and Lynn Whitfield as Josephine Baker, both amazing women. And I remember being in New York one last time, and I was in Boss Model Management's main lobby with all the rest of the models of this. And we were all in line, and there were so many that I thought were so beautiful, like, oh, they're going to take them. It's not going to be, I don't belong here. And I remember that day that the creative director singled me out and said, you come here, and everybody gasped, like, and I'm like, what is this? And I remember him sitting me down, and he said, you have an amazing look. He said, but you'll never cut it in New York. And I just looked at him, and he was like, you need to go to Paris. And then I told my friends from high school, because it's the one thing about going to school in the suburbs, their parents have disposable incomes. So I told my friends, like, listen, I need a plane ticket. They're like, Holly, are you sure you need a plane? Yes, I need a plane ticket. Where are you going? Paris. How long are you going to stay? One-way ticket. I'm not coming back. And I did that. I went. And I always talk about that story, but I did that because people like you, I'll never forget, it's in my head right now. I can hear you singing Hi, I'm Mr. Ordinary. It gave me a drive because I was new to the art world.
Yeah.
I had never been in the art world, the artist world. I wasn't calling myself that, so it just was, I was taking notes from people, and I watched you. You were one of the people that I watched. You were even back then, Garrain, the people that followed you, they were so full of light and spirit and positivity. You were definitely, back in 2004, you were attracting the people you needed to be in your circle. It was so, and that's the thing, me being spiritually gifted, shaman, oracle, prophet, seer. Even back then, I was coming into the knowledge of my gifts, but I could see, I'm like, I would read the comments. And if I left a comment, 6 people would comment, oh, that was such an amazing comment. And yes, he is very uplifting. And I'm just like, so I went to Paris. It was a long story. Went to Paris, ended up having a manic episode. My mental illness wasn't under control then, but I learned a lot and I met a lot of people. And that kind of helped me find my way into artistry on American soil, because
that is so cool. I love hearing stories where people just don't give up. They're like, this is what I want. I will stop at nothing. I will go anywhere and everywhere. And then all of a sudden, what shows up at your doorstep, and they think it's an overnight success. I'm like, yeah, an overnight success. It took about 15 years of every day working towards it.
Yeah. Working towards it, laying down late. I still do it, laying down late, getting up early. My friends from New York always used to say, you got to grind. It's the belly and the belly of the beast. And, those terminologies. And I don't know where they are today, but I know where I am. I know what I've become. And, I get the messages, wow, oh my God, like I get those messages, but there are very few people that we are given, even if we don't know them personally, that help us get through great hardship. And there was great hardship in my life up until about 16 years ago. And I remember your music, and Mariah Carey. I used to cry myself to sleep, especially listening to Mariah sing I Can Make It Through the Rain. Mm-hmm. So that was one. And then I would listen to you, and I'm telling you, like, I love that you used to sing your song, Mr. Ordinary, because you weren't ordinary.
Yeah.
It was so far from ordinary. Like that was the thing. So listen, we're not gonna stay back here. We got to come up here. So get this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So get this. I turn around and I'm watching you, and the bottom fell out for me. I had it happen several times. Mental illness, bipolar 1, PTSD, acute anxiety. Took me 16 years to get it under control, take the right cocktail, have the right therapy. But now here I sit. But I remember when, and this was something that was so monumental to me, because I was like, wow, Dollface. Malibu Dollface is what he used to go by.
Dollface Barbie, yep.
Dollface Barbie. You put him in your beautiful music video.
Yeah.
EEA, beautiful.
Yep.
And I was like, because at that time, you were very mainstream.
Yeah.
And I was like I really, and this is the thing, after you did it, Dollface talked about how it was an amazing opportunity and how he was so thankful. And I'm like, this person is determined to show kindness wherever they go. And it just really, like, it just, and people don't understand, when you're an artist, all you're searching for is kindness, because it's like you get the double dose of mean, and then they look at you like, are you gonna crack? They say the worst things possible. Yep. And then they look at you like, now what are you gonna do? Yeah. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. I used to look at other models, and they'd walk in the agency, and it's like they'd walk in, and their bookers, the whole team is like, oh yes, you're back from Europe, and support. And I used to wonder, well, how did you guys get that type of support if you walked in off the street like I did? And I found out rather harshly, that they didn't walk in off the street. That in the business of fashion itself, they were very elitist. These models were the children of very elite, very prominent people. They weren't just walking off the street. They had to have, these modeling agencies had to have open calls to fulfill a guideline to be in business, but they weren't taking actual models from that call. They had everything they needed. Oh, this is such and such's daughter. She's an heiress. Like, they were very much so catering to the wealthy.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't have a shot. I don't have a shot. And then I realized it, but I kept going. I kept going. And one of the things, even today, I bring to my camera a lot of Black and Latin men, because it's like, this is what I need to see in fashion, in the world. You know, they over sexualize us, but we're not good enough to wear the suit and strut down and be the leading man. I talked about that on my TikTok yesterday. I said, you know, there are a lot of men that they get places because there's a lot of money seen in them, that they have that leading man type of, you know, air about them. But also, what I didn't say is that usually they have to be really well connected, as in, my mother knows this person, that person. Like, it's a boys club that you can't get in, is what I'm saying. And I'm saying this because somebody had billboards in Times Square
Yep.
back in the day.
Yep.
So you were conquering film, fashion, and acting. And I was
Yep.
just like, this man is a trifecta. The trifecta.
It was like a unicorn.
Yes. And it was like, oh my God. So then there was the time that, you know, I went silent because I had to get myself together. It was the first time I'd seen doctors for real and gotten medicine and things like that. So I went silent. And I would come back every now and then to YouTube, trying to restart my career. But when I did come back, I left a comment again. And it was the dilemma of whether or not straight men, heterosexual men, should be kind to homosexual men. And you were in the thick of that conversation. And I'm just like, why? Like, I just ally. Like, and I mean, literally. And then I closed my computer, got to get myself together. And then I didn't fully emerge until, I want to say, 2013. So,
And I want to comment after you make that statement. I want to comment on that because I think it's a really, really powerful dialogue.
Yeah. But I didn't come back until 2013. And even when I came back, you were still being you.
Yeah.
You were still being you.
Yeah. You know, I want to talk about that because a lot of people didn't get that. There's no way you can have friends that are gay and you're not gay. They're like, you hiding something.
Yeah.
But what they never asked me was, what was my upbringing like?
Yeah.
And I actually never really shared it because I didn't even know why I was just so open to connect with people, period. Here's my upbringing. My mom she went to church like twice a week, but she was a Methodist. All my the friends I went to school with, they went to Baptist church. My other best friend was Muslim, so I'd go to the mosque with him, and then my other best friend was Jewish, and then I'd go to temple with him. And my favorite uncle, Uncle Dwayne, was gay. Before I knew what gay was, all I knew is he was colorful. He liked to jump, and if you see me now, all of my pizzazness, all of my expression, it was planted in my head by my Uncle Dwayne. He died when I was younger. But before I knew what gay was, I was just like, I really like how and he would twirl the baton, he'd do like this. And I would always see other people in my family like make little snickers about him, but I didn't understand because I was too young to comprehend. But by that time, my domestication was just so open, from the Jew, the Muslim, the gay, or whatever the expression was. Well, adults are deteriorated children.
Yeah.
I was raised in such an open home. So just imagine 30 years later.
Yeah.
So I never got, by the way, my paradigm is how someone can treat somebody wrong because of their lifestyle choice. It never registered for me. So because I was bullied, I always knew that I'm here to represent for the voice of the voiceless, regardless of how they chose. So I only know how to be myself, and I've been that way damn near the entire time. And I became, for the LGBT, now it's so many letters, I don't even know what it is now. I have no idea.
Right.
The lifestyle, the different lifestyle, I don't even know what it is, because there's more add-ons, but I've always been an ally. But the same way on how I know how to lead women, and women are 98% come to my programs, come to my workshops. What is it? Because I'm an ally for women, because I know they do not get their just due in life, and they get weaponized, they get minimized. And the same thing with the LGBTQ community. It's not the same, but it's the same as far as taking a human soul with the heart, and saying, you're not worthy because of your lifestyle choice. I don't care if you have a mom, I don't care. That doesn't work for me in the way in which I live my life. So what you were experiencing for me was me not comprehending, because Uncle Dwayne was my favorite uncle.
Yeah.
And people can see me and they see, you're so expressive and you're so out there and you're so free. And you know where that came from? My very gay uncle, Dwayne, who was the most amazing man ever.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but that's actually where that comes from. All the seeds that were planted when I was a little kid that just opened my mind to be able to receive people for who they are not, because I know exactly who I am.
Yeah. You know, I remember people trying to give you shit about it, but my question to them is, how is it that the gays can support and buy records? We can buy all labels, we can buy all of this stuff, but a straight man cannot support us back. Like it can't be reciprocal. It just has to be, oh, okay, the gays support us. They give us the gay dollar. The gay dollar has power, because it does. But you guys are not allowed to turn around and say thank you and put us in your music videos and, talk about us and big us up. And because I'll never forget, I was actually the day, I remember this, it's vivid, it's on my YouTube. I saved it, the snippet. I was having a really rough day that day. Because I came onto the scene as the Queen of Shade in 2016, went viral, et cetera, et cetera. Finally, I started at 19. So literally roughly around 2003, 2004 myself. And it was like, I was down because I was working so hard. Like I was working because my attitude, what I did not understand is, don't kill yourself, because marketing comes, advertisement comes with a price, but it comes. That's what you need to take your work to the next level. So I was missing that piece because it was a financial piece for me. So I remember trying to figure out what I was going to do, because I'm like, okay, clearly I have something that is speaking to a lot of people. That's good. Now, how do I cultivate it, maintain it, and get it to a larger audience? So I was doing all of that, and I was sitting on IG Live, and I was bringing people on for the first time. I'd never done that, never talked to people that followed me to actually hear their stories concerning me. And I'll never forget this, because when you came on, you're like, you didn't know it was me. And I'm like, no, I knew it was you. Like, but the thing was, I've watched you, like, okay, these people need to understand something. You are on another level. You are in the stratosphere with your companies, with your businesses, with your lectures. I watch you go around this world and motivate the hell out of this world. And you live such a motivational, transformative life. These people need to understand why I'm like choked up, because I have watched you get everything that you ever decided and desired to manifest. That's not easily done, Garrain. That doesn't happen. They tell you, well, if you want this, then you're gonna have to sacrifice this. And if you want that, then you're gonna have to let that go. Not you. Not you. And when you came on that night, I was like, oh, like I just freaked, because I was like, oh my God. Because it was like, okay, he saw me. That was the first thing. He saw me. And then you were like, oh, you didn't know it was me. And then you come on and you're like, I want to thank you back at that time. You're like, I want to thank you for 15 years of support. You commented when I married my wife. You commented about so many things. And I was like, I've never met you, but I don't think I could, because I'd cry. Like it would be no, like, people don't understand. We all have heroes, and our heroes are not always, shout out to the queen, love her, not always Beyonce, not always Michael Jackson, not always, Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B. These are great entertainers. But for me, I draw to light. I draw to light. And I'm not saying that all of those beautiful, consummate performers and artists and businessmen and women don't have a light. But there was something about you that when I saw it in 2004, I was just like, even then, I was just like, I've got to keep this in my life. Even if it's from afar, I've got to keep this in my life. And I've watched you swim every morning. Like like I pay, okay. I'm not a stalker. Everybody understand. This is a heterosexual man. I'm just paying homage. Okay. Does everybody understand? But you swim. Like I remember the time you stopped and you put it on social media. I remember a time you stopped in a gas station. There was a homeless woman there and you got her something to eat and then you prayed with her. You prayed with her. Karen, who does that? Who does that? And it was like, and you could tell, we all watching, we could tell that she was out there. We could tell she was out there, but she stopped for that prayer. She came to in consciousness to that prayer and she let you pray. And then you were talking about the books you were reading. And then that was like the last moment I saw of any tribulation. And then it was like the heavens opened and you skyrocketed. Like when I tell you, I was like, like you just, I'm gonna have to take your courses because I don't know how you did that. And my thing is, it's not my duty or my job to ask you how. If I want to learn, I have to be mentored. And I understand that even as a mentor, I have to be mentored. That's a conversation where that's when I put on my scholar hat and my studious hat and I sit and I have to actually learn what happened. And because it just, I had a Hollywood executive say to me a month ago when they asked me to interview their panel for this new LGBTQ IAP plus. That's all of the mafia. We call them the mafia. That's all the letters, but they have a new talk show and it's on Fox Soul, and the executive producers and their like talent agency reached out to me to interview. And I was talking to an executive producer and he was going through, because they go through your social media to make sure it's even worth it. So he's going through my social media and he's like, God, you're really powerful. You're really this, you're really that. So then I didn't say anything to him. He goes to my YouTube. Now, mind you, I was just getting started on my YouTube. I deleted the old channel. I was just getting started. And he goes to the very bottom and I'm just talking to him, I'm selling myself. This is what I do. This is who I am. Transformative work. It's about the light. It's about God. It's about this. And he says to me, no way. I'm like, sir? He's like, you've spoken to Garrain Jones? I'm like, yeah. He was like, why does this video only have 16 views? This is not right. Do you know who Garrain Jones is? I said, yes, sir, I do. And literally, that got me the job. Let's go. Because he couldn't believe that someone whom was an unknown, I guess, to Hollywood would be speaking to the likes of you. And he was like, okay, then we'll greenlight you. And literally after that, they greenlit me. And I was supposed to interview one panelist. I interviewed all of the panelists. And then the executive producers are coming on later this month. Like
Wow.
yeah. Like, but do you see, like, your presence, you're transforming and don't even know.
Mm.
Like, you know, people, and you don't even know, like, literally that was the moment. He said to me, he was like, you spoken to Garrain Jones? He said it right out. And I'm like, yeah, I followed him for a long time. And I told him, you know, I'm trying to go through the story. He's like, and then he stops me. Why does it only have 16 views? This should have had so many views. And I'm like, well, I just started the channel. It'll grow. You know, because I'm feeling like he's going to back out. And he's like, okay, well, when's their earliest opening? That was it. That was it. Then I'd finish the one. He's like, oh, the next one will be on this. And they had this thing, 5:45 my time, 2:45 their time. They scheduled them all different Mondays. And I did them all. And they were all impressed. And I got that because he saw that I had spoken to you. And he was like, and you were thanking me for supporting you. Yeah. Nobody's ever known that. That's
Thank
how
you
I
for
got
sharing
it.
that story.
Yeah, I had to, because it was you. It was you. It's the work that you do. It holds weight. And that's one thing about you. The world will it doesn't matter what capacity you are in, the world will never forget you. It's just that it's an act of God. You are a man of God. I can't say it any other way. You're a man of God, and you move mightily through his might and power. And that is just so amazing to watch and to behold. So tell us, you turn around, and like I said, this huge, like, rocket takes off. And one of the companies was Herbalife. That was one. Yeah. So that was one of them, Herbalife. Then I noticed you, and you flew to the top. Like this is the thing. You flew to the top of that company. Like, when I tell you flew, I was watching. The tribe just got so big, and then y'all were doing retreats, and you're on the beaches, and everybody's like, yeah, like, I'm like, okay, so that was one. And then the next thing you know, you were running around motivational speaking. You're in rooms with people, and I mean with thought leaders. And it's like, and I'm sitting here going, what the hell has happened? What did I miss? But no, it took off that way. And then you were living your best life, and you were traveling, and then you were getting married.
Something I never thought I would do.
And you know what the crazy thing is? I always knew you'd be married. I always did. Because honestly, I knew that the right woman was not going to encounter that energy and let you go. That wasn't going to happen. Wasn't going to happen. Not at all. And then your beautiful wife came into the picture, and then I watched her do what women do best: support you. Support you. I remember, look at this. I'm nosy. I'm nosy. I followed you. I remember when you met her grandmother for the first time.
Yep.
At the door. And her grandmother opens the door. And in my mind, I'm going, okay, this gorgeous Black man that showed up on this white woman's porch. Let's see what happens.
Who's 94 years old.
Yeah, 94 years old. And she's like, hi. And when she did that, I said, see? She hugged you. And I'm just like, and then you talk to me, and you're like, we're trying for a baby. And I'm like, and you didn't have to, now mind you, you didn't have to tell me that. You've been interviewed. You know what it's like to be in Hollywood and be around the world. You know how that goes. That was an exclusive. That's what we call it. And then you said that. And then not too much long after that, baby soul is here. And I'm watching you hold your baby. And then there's this big drum, and you're making sounds for the baby, and just elevating her spirituality and her moral compass. And I'm just like, like, I just couldn't take it. I just couldn't take it. And like, as you can see, this is not an interview. This is me telling you how you impacted my life. It's been so long, Garrain. And you've been doing, I remember when you moved from LA to Texas. You're like, we're out of here. We're out of here. Greener pastures, we're gone. And I'm like literally. And I'm gonna tell you something. I never thought you'd leave LA.
Me neither.
Yeah, I never thought you. Did you? I think. Have you said that before?
Yeah.
You have?
Never in a million years thought I would leave LA. And then,
Never.
but I also never thought I would be in a committed marriage. And
The rest.
my wife's vision and being able to trust her intuition is nothing like I've ever seen before. And I just know how to amplify visions.
Yeah. You have to do me a favor. How did you meet her? Because she is amazing and she's fit. I love a woman that's fit.
So
She's fit.
basically, 3 years prior before meeting her, I never thought I was gonna, I didn't want to be, I just wanted to play the field, sleep with as many women as I can. And that was what I thought my whole life.
Yeah.
So I never saw the picture of me being married, even though I already have another daughter, but it wasn't from somebody who I was ever thought I would marry. My daughter, Kylia, who's about to be 21 years old.
Yeah.
Which is crazy in itself because I'm about to be 43 in like a week.
Yeah.
So any book that I've ever read that had anything to do about relationships, I never wanted to read it because I was like, nope, I'm not getting in a relationship.
Right.
So I read a book called When God Winks by Squire Rushnell, the first edition. In that particular book, which in all the other editions, they cut out this chapter, and this is a chapter on soulmates. So it's the first edition, purple and gold cover. I'm flying home from Brazil, just spoke on a stage of like 30,000 people.
Yep.
And I got this book and I get to the soulmate section and I skipped a chapter and now like something said, you know what, just read it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, I've read that book 10 times. I skip this chapter every time.
Oh, wow.
So I started reading it and it started talking about making a list.
Yeah.
But the list that I typically used to make, I want a really nice looking girl with nice legs and she looks exotic. And I'd get that and she'd have a horrible attitude.
Yeah.
And so I just I wasn't picky with what I wanted.
Yeah.
And so I started to make a list and it gave me 3 prompts. Make a list of all the attributes you want in a woman.
Yeah.
And I got to number 5 and I said, no, I'm being too picky. And I was like, wait a second. This is the woman that I want. Yeah. If I'm gonna be all the way picky. So I was like, listen, beautiful inside and out, great hygiene, believes in God, no alcohol issues, makes her own money, is masculine and can easily slip into her feminine, loves reading, loves books, loves animals, highly disciplined. And I just named all these things. I got to 62 attributes.
Woof.
Never done that before in my life, but I did it in all these other things in my life. In business, every time I wrote very extensive lists. And this is how I get everything that I want because I'm clear on what I want, not vague about it.
Yeah.
And so I started to write down this list. Mind you, I wasn't half the things on this list.
Ah.
So get this. So I write down this whole list. And then the next thing was write how you want to feel in the relationship.
Wow.
And I was like, I've never even thought about that. Then write down the top 5 places where you would meet this person that you've never been to before. My top list was at a personal development seminar, circled and starred. Because if I want a girl who loves growth, who loves reading books, well, might find her at a personal development seminar, which one I had never been to before.
Yeah.
So basically what happened was I lost that list. I wrote this whole thing out. I lost the list. Several years passed by and my daughter, who I did not have a relationship with,
Right.
magically comes, so you can't see the picture while you're in the frame,
Mm-mm.
magically comes into my life.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we start building a relationship that we had never had before.
Right.
She started treating me in a way that no woman that I'd never even experienced with my own mom. I was like, oh my God, I'd want that in a woman. I'd want that in a woman. Wow, it wasn't about cooking, but I'd never had a woman. No, I didn't have to ask. I was in Korea speaking engagement. I get back, she's like, just automatically starts cooking. Wear your clothes. I want to clean your clothes. And I'm like, no, you don't have to do that. She was like, you've been working really hard. I just want to take care of you.
Mm.
And I don't know what it was about that to just know and me not say anything. It wasn't about the cooking or the cleaning. There was a level of support that I know my mom gave it to me, but I wasn't aware when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
That I had never received from another woman.
Yeah.
Until that day. And I was like, I would really love that. And I wasn't even on the best terms with her mom, but I called her mom and I said, I just want to say thank you. She said, for what? I was like, Kylia, like, cooked tonight. And she cooked a really good meal and was like really enjoying it. And then she like said, where's your clothes? And she washed my clothes. I was like, that's really cool. She said, great job, Dad. This is what happens when you show up and you pursue, you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm learning from her mom, and I'm learning what I want in a woman through my daughter. I'm like, this makes me feel good.
Wow.
So the relationship is growing. It's growing. It's growing. I let my daughter, in a part of my heart, I never even let my mom, because trust was growing.
Yeah.
Once that part of my heart was open,
Right.
it was open. It like sends out a whale signal or something. It was open because I had never been open like that.
Wow.
I went to a 10-day silent retreat, and this man at the very end named Steve Stern, he said, you're a good looking guy. It's safe to say you can get any girl you want. I said, yeah. He said, get a date with your daughter. She's a girl. Oh my God, I've never pursued her in a way that I was like, how do I get a date? I'm surrounded by women, never asked women, what do women want? We want to feel safe.
Yeah.
We want to feel seen, heard, acknowledged.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've never given any woman that in my life. So I called Kylie. I said, Kylie, pick out your best outfit, get red carpet ready. I'm going to take you out on a date. You don't need to worry about anything. Be ready at this time on Friday. Pop, 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 pop. I had never approached anybody like that.
Wow.
Her mom goes, what did you do to my daughter? I was like, why? She's like, she's in her closet all giddy. She can't even control herself. I said, I asked her out on a date. She said, good job, Dad. So I took my daughter out on a date. The confidence inside of me was growing, because before I approached my daughter this way, as this weak person, I was like, I hope she sees that I've changed. And instead of being weak, I said, I am the most powerful representation of who she will marry one day.
Oh, yes. See?
So that right there, not knowing what it was like, but claiming it.
Yep.
Claiming it had me talk different, think different, look different, approach different, have a different frequency and energy coming out of me. And then my daughter was building trust. Our relationship was building trust. And when I became that kind of person, every dude she was dating, she got rid of, because she had a new level of man in her life, which I started growing into magically. During that time, that's when I met my wife.
Oh my God.
But she was my friend at first. And I was like, there's just something about her. Every time she texts me, A friend of mine was like, well, you don't care if she's white. I'm like, let me tell you something. Love has no boundaries.
No.
I don't care about none of that. I've never felt the way that I feel right now. I ain't never tried to disassociate or listen, the way I feel, I've never felt this way. There's something about this person that I just want to be around her. And it was just friend. We're strictly platonic. All of a sudden, every time she texted me, every time she called me, every time I saw her in person, it was like this flutter going. Vrr, vrr. And I found my journal while I was spring cleaning. She's on FaceTime. And I was like, oh, I found my journal of this soulmate that I wrote down 3 years ago. She said, read it. And I read it, and she's on FaceTime. I read all 62 attributes. And when I took the phone away, she was like, she had all 62 attributes and treated me exactly how I wanted to be treated. And I met her at a personal development seminar. That's how I met my wife. I knew instantly on the first date, I told her, you're going to be my wife. I can see it, and you'll be the mother of our children. 6 months later, I asked her to marry me. A year after that, we got married, and now we have our kid, planning out the rest of our lives.
This doesn't happen for normal people. And the reason why I'm saying it, now mind you, I'm saying this, child, what's wrong with my hair? There it is. Okay. Why I'm saying it is, I'm going to tell you like they told me when I was 10 years old, Garrain, the hand of God is on your life. You were meant to prosper. And the woman that you married was created specifically for you. Specifically to be at your side so that you could continue to accomplish the great feats and the reasons why God put his hand on your life. I have seen her. I follow her. She is the strongest, sweetest person I have ever seen. Like let me tell you something. She don't have to say anything. Her stance, body position, like it's so crazy. I feel the same energy from her that I feel from you. It's the craziest thing. And it's like, can you imagine what your daughter is gonna be like?
It's already happening. It's already happening. I'm watching it. I'm like,
yes.
Wow.
She's gonna take over the world. Like she's gonna take over the world. Like it's so beautiful. And I remember when you married her on the beach.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and what people don't understand is, first of all, you were so gracious to do that because you didn't have to let us into that. You didn't have to. But it's like a consciousness and a knowing without knowing. Knowing that you had people that really, 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 really support you and wanted to see you genuinely happy. And you shared that, and we were all happy. We were all happy. We were all blessed. We were like, yes. And then, like I said, marriage is now, the ink on the papers are dry, and whoosh, y'all take off together. And y'all are just rocketing around this world. Like it is such a beautiful thing to behold. Honestly, as a young man, because I'm still a man, as a young man that grew up without his mother or his father, raised by his grandmother, his uncles and his aunts, they did their best. I don't really know what real love looks like on a level for partnership. And I'm going to be honest. I can give you support. I can give you love. I can be there. I can give you words that uplift your spirit and your ego. I can do all of that. I can even have one-on-one friendships. But when it comes to genuinely pursuing a relationship with somebody, I don't even know the first step.
Mm.
And that is something that I can admit, because I am in this space in my life right now where I'm trying to decide, because I turned 40 in September. I'm trying to decide if I even want it. I've lived so long without it. And I gave up because you and I kind of had the same kind of agenda for a while there. I was one of as many beautiful men as I could at one point. And then I got career oriented, but it wasn't just career oriented. I realized I got to be about my father's business. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. So in August 9th, I will have been celibate for 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I just cut it off. And the craziest thing, now there's a reason why I'm saying this. The craziest thing is back in 2003, I met a young man, and I went to New York. I met him. We had a lovely meeting. I stayed with him. Then I went home and I went on with the rest of my life. And at that meeting, I'll never forget it, because, I was young. So 19, 20. I was turning 20, actually. I took the Greyhound bus up there. He met me at the Greyhound, looking at this man. He looked at me. I looked at him. That was it. I knew it was love at first sight. Still didn't know what to do with it. So I tried to handle the relationship the way I'd always handled relationships. Sex, 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 without giving anything substantial. But
and you had so much to give.
That, you know what it was? He was a young psychology student at that time. But he was so patient. He didn't rush me. He was so supportive. Let me make my decisions, willing to stand in the background and let me shine. And then I would say to him, like, no, I don't want to stand in the background. You stand right here so we can shine. Like, so get this. The reason why I'm saying this is it's been 17, 18 years. I've kept in touch with him. I talked to him. He's one of my spiritual advisors because he was a reverend. He grew into that, went to school, psychology degrees. Just the other night, I was sitting on FaceTime with him, and I said to him, and it just came out of nowhere. It left us both in tears. His name is Jermaine. I looked at him and I said, Jermaine, I've been celibate for 10 years. And this is the thing about him. He's watched me. He's watched me interview some of the most beautiful men. He's watched them love me back. She's the queen of shade. She can have anybody. I sat on FaceTime with him the other night, and we were in tears, sobbing, because I told him, Jermaine, I don't want another man to touch me in life if it's not you. And with this new lens that I have, see, I didn't have it as a young person. Now that I'm almost 40, I got this lens. I can say what it is. So I said to him, we've done this dance for nearly 20 years, and you've always been there. You won't leave, and you silently hold your heart in your hand for me. And the craziest thing is we sobbed for about an hour, and he said, I knew one day this would happen. Now, mind you, we had that moment. I don't know what to do next. I don't know what it looks like. There's a whole situation that we have to look at each other's lives. We have to, I don't know if we fit, and the agenda but the weirdest thing with me is I took the first step. I let him know, and I'm comfortable there. I don't feel a need to rush, because I realize what I've been giving men, I needed to put out of commission. I need a whole new way. I need a whole new way. So that's why the celibacy, he knew about it. He's like, 10 years of celibacy. And he never knew why. I had beautiful men. Look at me. And then most men, especially Black men, we really are drawn to intellect. It really is a spiritual thing. If we don't get your mind, we don't get your body. And a lot of Black men don't realize they're that way. A lot of men are. If we don't get your mind, we don't want your body, because we can fantasize. Men are very visual. We can make you to be what we want you to be visually in our minds so that we can perform whatever action needs to occur. But if we get you, then you, like you said, you open, and it's different. Yeah. And the care and all of these other things start happening. And, you know, when you were speaking about your list and you were talking about women and different things and not really having related to them before, I was thinking to myself, it's the same way. When we compartmentalize a woman and we limit her to just her physical attributes, and that's all we go after, we miss all of the treasure that woman can bring to our lives. We miss everything. And my thing was, even when I was speaking to Jermaine, I didn't want to miss it. I didn't know how it was going to look. I know I'm still in therapy. I've been in therapy 16 years. I didn't know how it was going to look, but I told him, I told him. And I'm like, I don't know how it's going to look, but I made a decision that I no longer wanted to miss the rest of him. The rest of him. This man, when I tell you I have been in, and this is the thing, I have been in some low places with this industry, some suicidal places. I call him and he'll tell me, and I mean, he don't call me baby, he calls me by my name, Bjorn. And he will say, you are the phoenix, you are the manifestation of God here, the fire put here. Like, he will speak all of that into me. Rise from the ashes. When I tell you this man gets going, he can pull that out of, like, literally. And then when he's done, he's in tears and sweating because he done channeled what God wanted to say to you. And it's so powerful. And he's always been there for that. He's always given me that. And I give him, thank you. I appreciate you. And I realized that's not enough anymore. And I've had people say to me, you could be happy with someone, one person, if you want it. But the thing is, I'm a little afraid of that, but I don't know. I don't know. All I know is I keep telling myself, I don't want anyone else. I keep telling myself that. And I know that for a fact. I don't want anyone to touch me. No one. Like, I mean it. Because, at these levels, we can't so much as catch a cold out here because we're so doing what we have to do that I don't even have time for that. So that's not a problem. But it's kind of like I know it's there now. So I have this like calming feeling, but I don't want to use that as a crutch. I don't want it to just be like, oh, he's always there. He'll always be there, because no, he won't always be there. No, we're not kids anymore. I was 20 when I met him. I'm going to be 40. He was older than me, So it was like, what are we going to try to, I don't know yet. I don't know, but because I'm in transition in my life as well. I'm transitioning out of this place. I'm transitioning. My career is getting bigger. So I'm just like, what's it going to look like? But I just, what I say all of this to say this, even though you say, oh, I was just, trying to get as many women as possible. I always knew there was a chivalrous man in you. Chivalry. That makes, listen, even for gay men, we love chivalry. Like, chivalry? Like, what? Because they always say, oh, a woman cater to a man, but when a man caters to you, when a man caters, the protection, the wisdom, the importance, the uplifting, like, I'm not so sure if I want to miss out on that. I'm not so sure. I don't know. My grandmother says to me, you know, because I've been telling everybody, I'm like, oh, well, I like escorts. I tell everybody that. Oh, because I work so much and I pay them to leave. Now, mind you, I've been celibate, but I'm setting up. So I'm like, oh, I like, you know, one day I'll break my, maybe when I'm 45, and I mean this, maybe when I'm 45, I'll break myself. It's no time soon. So I'm like, maybe then, but you know, you pay them to leave, they get out of your way, and I don't have to worry about, you know, putting my career on hold or doing this or doing that. But I don't want that. I want one person. I just don't know how to go about it just yet because growing up, I didn't have that.
Well, I did want to share something with you, and I know we're probably coming up on time.
Yeah.
Um, every place in my life where I have a coach, I have excelled times 10. I have a sex coach, I have a business coach, I have a relationships coach, I have a money coach, I have a systems and structure coach, and I have 7 different coaches.
Yeah.
Everywhere where I have a coach, I'm not like the 5th grader trying to teach myself how to get out of 5th grade. I have someone in my life that can pull out of me what I can't pull out of myself. So what it sounds like to me as a student in this area, you find a relationship coach.
Yeah.
You bring all your stuff and they take all your puzzle pieces and be like, oh, you can put this piece with this piece, because you got to get the puzzle pieces out of the box first before you can put them together. But even in my last retreat, so I did a retreat that was Awaken the Artist Within. It's all about creativity and empowerment and having relationship to yourself and really knowing how to maneuver in this world where flow is a constant because you're so connected to nature.
Yeah.
All of that is what I was teaching inside of this group of 51 people sold out.
Yeah.
And I'm getting ready to do another retreat. And July 11th, I'm doing a 12-week mastermind accountability group with some high-level entrepreneurs. There's like some people that are doing big things. So it's already coming into a tribe. And then at the end of those 12 weeks, starting October 13th through the 16th, it's going right into another retreat called Artist Power Expressed.
Yes.
Relationships is one of the pillars that I will be highlighting inside of the 12-week mastermind accountability group.
Yeah.
So it's because of stories like yours.
Yeah.
Why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Is because when I get a result from something, I was like, yo, I know a million people that will want to learn the same thing. So I create systems and structures and programs so that I can make it accessible for people that don't know the next step, that have all of the universe and all of God inside of them, that just simply needs direction.
Yes. Yes, Garrain. Yes. Get this. If I show up at your retreat, it's not going to be like this. You probably won't even recognize me.
Well, I remember what you look like. When you had the shave.
I got the
I remember that. So I remember all the phases.
He said, I remember all the phases. Okay, good.
And listen, if you showed up like that in a retreat called Artist Power Expressed.
Oh, yeah.
It is all welcome.
Yeah.
Like all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. God, I have to say, as we get ready to wrap, I needed this. I needed this. I needed this. And I thank you so much for being so you, because I'm a living witness that since 2004 till now, you have only gotten better, but the core has always been the same. You're allowed to grow and change and transition and move, and you've done that. But that core reason that drew me, because you were a light and you were kind, still the same. Now, quickly, give me 3 words, and this may be setting you up. I don't want to set you up, but give me 3 words that inspire and empower you.
my life matters.
You're trying to make me cry.
My life matters. And when I say my life matters, as I'm staring into this camera to you and all of the millions of people that will be a witness of this conversation, I'm also talking to all of y'all because this is a house of mirrors. So when I say my, I'm also talking about your. Life matters. And when you treat it like it matters, life treats you like you matter.
Yes. Thank you so much. Tell everybody, for them living under a rock, tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
So you can find me on my website, GarrainJones.com, my Instagram, Garrain.Jones. I have a book out called Change Your Mindset, Change Your Life. It's on, it's like paperback, and the hardcover is coming out. And the audiobook is about to come out, but it's in Spanish and English. You can find that on Amazon. I have really cool, just like relationships on demand courses on my website. I have getting unstuck courses on my website. But the big thing is my retreat coming up in October and my 12-week mastermind course. Anybody who is wanting to go to the next level and is looking for a tribe and a rock star coach that can support you in amplifying your life, amplifying your energy, amplifying your passions, and getting you locked into your true mission into this world alongside other thought leaders so that you don't have to do it alone. I promise you on everything that I love, any dollar amount that you invest, because I am going to make you stretch a little.
Yeah.
Free is the new expensive.
Yeah.
Any dollar amount that you invest, I want you to be able to look at that investment in yourself 10 years from now, connecting the dots, looking backwards, and tell me if you hadn't 10x'd it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
10x the impact, 10x the finances, 10x the love, 10x the intimacy. All of it is connected to the same formula of frequency and energy that is living inside of you. I just want to teach you how to tap into it and then have it streamlined so you can sustain it throughout your life.
Yeah. One final question. There are a lot of young people out here that are looking for what you are offering, but they're intimidated by the divine power that flows within you.
Yeah.
What would you say to people that they're young, they probably can get the money and do it, but they're so intimidated by this God power that you possess? What could you say to that?
Whatever you see in me is a reflection of what's inside of you. So if you're afraid of the power, it's like you looking in the mirror and saying, I'm afraid of myself. Because if you recognize it in me, it's only because it's already within you. I'm just going to teach you how to etch those things that aren't serving you so that the real you can show up. Yeah. And it's one of those things. It's like either you want it or you don't. You can be pitiful or you can be powerful, but you cannot choose both.
Can't be both.
The thing about working with me, I won't let you slide and slip and make up these other BS stories that you tell your other friends. I'm going to show you how to have your life and yourself inside of your own authentic body in a way that is pleasing. And when you go to sleep at night and you look in the mirror and the truth shows up and nobody's around, it's calm and it's peaceful because you know that you're in purpose, on purpose, for a purpose, and your life looks like the way that you feel. If that is something that you're looking for and you want it, I'll tell you now, you found it. Here's the key. You know what to do. I can't make you do it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Once again, so here we go. Don't go away. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the vocal stylings of Mr. Garrain Jones. Again, he leads people to awaken their inner artists and create abundant magic in their lives. Speaker, facilitator, author, and co-founder of MPB movement. Don't go away. Say bye, but don't go away. So did you enjoy? I hope you did. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and don't forget to cash at me at the Queen of Shade. I am your favorite content creator, right? Right. You want to see more of this content, right? Right. Cash at me. I love you. Mwah.
I've got my black stilettos on. Don't you make me take them off. I'm assuming first position. Gonna show you I'm a boss. I've been given 60 seconds just to put my thing down. I'll have you wanting my stilettos by the time I turn around. Turn that TV down.